Welcome to the next part of our build series for my new PC. I kind of had to skip over last week's stream. I was unfortunately out of town and was a bit busy, but we are back to it. So today there are a couple of things we still need to do. Firstly, the correct CPU cooler finally arrived. So we will install this one. I think actually first, I think it's a good first step. And next up, I reprinted the other parts of the inner shell thing because the print quality of the original ones was quite horrible, so we will replace those. I also already installed the magnets here, so we don't have to go through that. I changed the sizing of the holes a bit, so that went way better. So these are still glued to the back part here, because yeah. So if you would build this yourself, this would come printed, or I guess part of the printed part, but I still have to glue them. Yeah, so basically cooler. Let's work on those. And then one thing I noticed is that the magnets on this side are not really holding, and that's because the cable is interfering with the magnet, the cable for the power button. So we have to work a bit on that. Find a solution there, and then basically once we are done, let's see how long this takes, but we also need to do some work in Fusion. Basically I want to create like a shroud for the fan here that it always takes air from the side, fresh air, which I will print them, and then next week we can install it maybe. Let's see. Cool. So I would say let's just unbuild the case. And let's start with the CPU cooler. I was actually playing a bit last week, and so far it works great. But I totally forgot. We also need to create a mount for this magnet part here. I noticed a couple of things. Firstly, why not just look at that? There's a bit of a problem here, and we need to find a solution, not immediately, but soon. So somebody already suspected this might happen, but the PVC foil basically started loosening a little bit on the edges here. I'm pretty sure we can fix that. It's really just lifting on the absolute edges here. I'm not quite sure how to fix that yet. It's not super bad because you don't see it on the outside. But one solution I was thinking of was basically just using a bit of glue on the edge here, just to secure that in place. The other option, yeah, I don't think there's another option, so that would be my approach for now. So yeah. Yeah, and that's basically the issue I was mentioning with the magnet. So basically this cable is kind of going in between the magnets, so we somehow need to secure it a bit here on the side, that the magnets are not, the cable doesn't interfere with the magnets. So you need to check that. Yeah, and then let's also design a mount for that later. When we design the shroud for the fan, let's also take care of that. But yeah, so far, it works great. One thing I was a bit concerned was temperatures overall, but it seems quite okay. Quickly, this is... Let's maybe do it like this bit. Temperatures of the system itself are fine. So that was one thing I was a bit concerned, but it is quite cool. And I didn't have any issues that the outside of the shell got super warm. So I'm quite confident that overall it's okay temperature-wise. I'll take the top part off. And then let's take this all apart. Okay, let's see. So we have basically the cables here we need to unplug. Actually, I'm quite sure because the black cable here still goes to the main board. So actually this one needs to be unplugged as well. And then we should be able to just lift this up. And here we go. Let me just park that down here for now. Okay, so basically then task 1 for today. Oh, by the way, I redid the cables. I totally forgot to mention that. So the cables we had before, they didn't really like attach like well to the pins. Like the solder was fine, but like the cable itself broke all the time. So that was really not a good setup or solution. So I changed the cables. Also added like those sleeves basically to it, so it looks all nice. And yeah, that's kind of like a last minute change I did. Or like last minute, just between the streams basically. Cool. Has been like at least 3 weeks since I installed it, so I'm not quite sure. I think we just have to loosen the screws left and right, and then it should just pop up. So, and yeah, just the story behind this is basically the proper CPU cooler didn't arrive and was kind of like stuck somewhere in transit. And this is literally the cheapest CPU cooler on Amazon. Oh god. I also need to clean that all. Let me just park that for now. So, question is, do I have something to clean that? Yeah, over there. Okay, let me quickly grab that. I'm right back. Okay, we have some isopropyl alcohol. Let's see that we get this nice CPU clean and shiny. Oh, it's such a mess to clean. It's like a little lake. Carefully get that out. Let's just make one final pass with the clean side. Okay. This looks clean to me. So, let's quickly put this aside. And let's take a look at the cooler. Bit of an experiment, to be honest, because I was looking like for a low profile cooler with a lot of like cooling power, and I came across this bad boy, which is from AliExpress actually, but seemingly it's really good. So let's see how it's doing. The cables look a bit cheap. Not gonna lie, but overall it should fit exactly like this. As oh, I also showed it. The first fit test is okay. I was a bit concerned with the RAM sticks, but it looks good. So this will fit on. in the proper orientation, which is great. And then basically we should have like a couple of millimeters between the top of the fan and the side panel. And that's where we kind of want to have this like fan shroud then basically to like force the fan to like draw in fresh air from the outside, not like reuse air from around the main board. So then let's see what the box holds for us. So we have the brackets, which we need to think. We have some thermal plates, so that's great. No clue. Oh, that's for Intel seemingly. So let's check the install guide. So this should be straightforward. So basically what it says, like we remove the original mounting bracket and we add this custom one, thermal paste, and then we just screw it on top. So it should be like straightforward. So let's see which parts we need. So these are the brackets, I guess. Oh. And it seems like we need these ones. Not quite sure what the straight ones are for, but oh, it's for the Intel on this side. So we need the ones with the small angle. And here are all the screws. So let's see if we can get this done and if everything will fit. So then basically step one is to remove the original brackets. Let me see. I guess that's something I should keep. Okay, now these should go on basically here. Let's see if we find the right screws for that. Hi, Alex. So that's basically all the mounting hardware that comes with it. And from the picture, it looks like we need those gray parts between the bracket and the board. And I guess it's these screws, because that's the only one kind of like seem to fit lengthwise. I'm not quite sure what this is for. Oh, these are for the Intel mount here. These little like thingies on top are those like thumb nuts, which are quite nice actually. So we need basically this. Okay, then. Looks like they're like symmetric top bottom, so just see if we can get the first one on. Okay, that works. Oh, actually, oh, I see. Yeah, like the whole, like this, like pallet in the bottom fits perfectly over the socket. So we can put them here already. That makes it very easier. Let me just quickly check the orientation, but I think this should be fine with the, yeah, the little, I'm not sure if you can see that, but the little screw thingy here in the middle goes up. So the orientation I have here is correct. With the little like screw thing towards the top. So let's just tighten that. I think that's already fine. Okay, and that's the mounting part. So I'll quickly save the original parts. Then let's see what the manual says next. So basically now it tells us to apply the thermal paste, and then somehow we screw that actual cooler on there. Oh, I see. So there's like this nut here with the tension spring. Can you focus? Yeah, and this basically, this part screws on these little stubs here. So that seems easy. So let's see. If I have to cut it open? No, I don't. It's just... It's very... It's not very fluid. Let's see, that should be fine. I think this is like the most ugly thermal paste ever seen on the internet. Then there's only one orientation this goes on, so... Remove. So I have to quickly move the camera up because otherwise I don't see the screws. Okay. Let me actually use the... They have this tool here. Let me just quickly use that. Okay, I think this one is in place. Yeah, okay, so both sides are in the thread. So let's just try to tighten them like equally. Let's do like one rotation each. Hmm. See, step by step. This is huge. It's actually like quite a small cooler. Like, I mean, this one was the one I used for last week, which is definitely like way smaller. But this one is kind of like from the height, it's very, very not tall. What's the opposite? Short. It's very short, I guess. See. This one kind of bottomed out here. This is like kind of like bottomed out, and yeah, this one now also. Let's just not over tighten it, I guess. Equal. And I guess now this should be mounted. Then we have two cables, which we kind of need to organize here. So one cable is, this is the fan itself. And the second one is the LED. Like this has RGB, as any good gaming hardware has. I'm actually quickly like put the screws we don't need back. I'm actually not sure if I want to connect that, to be honest. Because they kind of like shine through the side of the case. Like we have like this like mesh here. It would kind of shine through here, and I kind of like this to be dark. Like maybe not dark, but like not illuminated at least. Oh, I see the chat is broken again on stream. Or at least it doesn't refresh. Huh. Okay, you see? Like YouTube changed something with the chat. Like just like basically before the stream more or less. Okay, yeah. Okay, now it's there, but it's like there's margin on the bottom, but yeah, whatever. They changed something, it was completely broken. I can't I'll try to fix it before the stream. Not quite perfect yet, but good enough. Yes, Alex, RGB. Cool, so, I mean, firstly, we kind of have to like plug them in, right? So I would definitely leave that unplugged for now. Like 2 reasons, like A, I'm not sure if it will look nice. And we can try it out, right? So this one goes in here. The connectors are just like under the heatsink now. Let's just try how it looks, just for the fun, but I don't think I will connect it later. We also kind of need to cable manage that somehow. I mean, one thing we could do, like, because there's like a lot of cable, we can unmount the fan and like rotate the fan, right? Because the cables come out here. So if we rotate the fan around, we can kind of like hide the cables naturally a bit. Oh, that was success. So you have to grab the screw from the floor, but kind of like, I'm sure this might be a bit too much. Yeah, so we kind of have to go like this. Then we already have most of the cable hidden. That's like typical me. Where'd the screw go? Okay, that seems to be like a problem for later. Finding the lost screw. I will change my rail back to the honey badger to take it and take you with me. Oh, you mean on your trident? So, what was now the difference? So you have the LDO rail and you have the honey badger rail, right? So what's your take so far? Is there any difference you can observe, or is it just exactly the same? I will also start working on I think on the V0 next week again. So we will have some more printer content on stream here. But like I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but like my extruder on the V0 has some problems. I'm not quite sure what's the issue there, but basically it doesn't grab the filament properly anymore. So if I put the filament in, basically I can still pull it out, so it doesn't grab it 100%. And actually, like this I printed on the V0, and you see like there's some extrusion issues there. Where it just, it's really hard to see, yeah, here. So it's basically just under extruding like for a bit, but it's very inconsistent. I think that's because the filament is not grabbing, or like extruder is not grabbing the filament properly, and just like it sometimes slips a bit. I'm not quite sure if there really like hooks into that, but something like this is good. Oh, a little bit too close. The honey badger has much higher preload. I think the LEO does much more wiggle around x-axis. I'll find out. Yeah, definitely keep me posted on that. The difference I noticed, because for the V0 I have, I don't think this will really clip into here. Like, I hope the cables will kind of like clip into that, but what we can do actually is, let's remove the screw, put the cables, because I think we can kind of like squeeze the cables behind the screw, and then the screw holds the cables in. Yeah, it looks good. What I noticed with the V0 is, because I have one high wind rail and the others are LDO branded, I think. And the high wind also has way less wiggle. Like, it has higher preload, of course. That's quite interesting to see. But one thing I still like don't like on my V0 is like when you touch the tool head in general. Like, it's very like easy to like if the printer is like here basically, and I touch it from the front, like it's very easy to like rotate basically around the x-axis. And I've seen that there are CNC parts that mount the tool head to the rail, and I think I will swap the printed part for a CNC machine part there, just to give it a bit more stability, because I imagine that it will just like, that it's just a bit wiggly in general, like also during prints, and that might of course cause issues. Okay. Cool. That looks much better already. Now the cable's kind of like hidden, and I just need to find this screw. So let's see, we have some cable ties. Let's just create a small loop here. We can just kind of like stash that under here, and this should be fine. Cool. Yeah. Let me give me like 30 seconds to quickly try to find the screw on the floor. 1 second. Success. So let's put the lost child in place. The rotating on x-axis is what I meant with wiggle. Yeah, wiggle is a good way to describe it, I guess. It's just like, I'm not sure if this really shows up in the print, because like usually, like, I mean, you don't touch it during a print, of course. But still, like, just like from the accelerations, like it might, yeah, just create like small layer shifts in X. Actually, not sure if I observed that or if it's more like a theoretical problem. But still, it's nice to not have it, I guess. I also still have the lightweight X-axis to install. I'm not sure if that will help or make that worse. But yeah, okay, let's quickly just turn it on, I guess, and see how the fan looks. Quickly grab the cable. For some reason, everything is like super far away today. Here is the cable. Oh. Then we also kind of need a power button, right? Let's quickly like that. it. Well, it works, but to be honest, it doesn't look amazing. Yeah, you all see it on camera, right? Like the RGB is really just like in the center, but like it's really like dim on the outside. So I'm not really keen on having that. I don't know. By the way, fun thing. The last, not sure if the last stream I tried, but like the stream before last, we had trouble like turning on the machine, the computer, like on stream, and I found out that the main board will not post if there's no display connected, which is really weird. Like if there's no display connected, it just has this orange LED there, like lit up, and it doesn't post, like it doesn't boot into Windows, nothing. It's really weird. That took me like quite some troubleshooting. And it's also, I had a problem, like it didn't boot because the HDMI cable wasn't properly plugged in on the display side, and really like freaked me out because I thought it broke the machine. I was doing just the cable of the display was not connected. But it also doesn't show up on the router, or like the keyboard doesn't light up. It's like just like not doing anything if it doesn't have display, which is, I think, really weird behavior, to be honest. Okay, then let's actually not plug the RGB in, and let's just kind of like stash it down there somewhere. And then I think we can just park it for a second and work on the other to-do for today, which is the main core, where basically we will replace these like outer parts. Yeah, you actually see, like I mentioned the stream before, like I really struggled to print that. Like the quality is horrible. Like this is the worst part. But basically what happened is like this is like patchy, it's like quite flexible, and it started to wiggle, like because I printed it upwards, like upright, it started to wiggle a little bit, like as it was printed, and it caused horrible layer shifts. And I also struggled with the material quite a bit. But yeah, so we replace, there's like top and bottom, front and back, and we will replace the back completely and the top front. The top bottom is already a new part with the magnets basically that clip onto the front panel. Yeah, I guess let's just quickly take that apart. I think I'm desperately trying to fix my resonance issues. Yeah, it's actually, like, I'm so curious. I will check that, like, when we work on the V0, how bad the resonance on the V0 is, because like I never checked. I always just accept the auto suggested result. You know, like when you run the calibration in Clipper, like it suggests you values, and I just like take the values. I never look at the graph. So I'm not quite sure if like the resonance are fine for me. It's curious to find out, but I also like I'm not quite sure like what to do if the resonance is not good. So maybe I also don't want to know, and there's nothing I need to worry about. But generally, like, the print quality of the V0 is fine, minus the extrusion issue I have. See if we can stiff. One. This is two. So maybe we should have done the fan first. Let's quickly remove the fan on top. Like there's this huge 180mm fan that basically pulls out the entire air from the system. And yeah, like the generally like the case works really well. So we just have to really touch up like those like small things we're doing now. But yeah, generally it works really well. And looks well, which I'm still a bit surprised. Actually, just let's pull them out. These are like Velcro strips for the cable. We will need them again in a second. Hi, Maria. Engineering is good with biomotor skills, especially if they could be transferred to other fields of expertise. Yes, that's true. As a child, I always built those like models, like of ships and cars and everything. It's actually something like sometimes I wonder if I should start doing that again. It's actually quite cool to like paint those like small details. That's I'm running out of space to put stuff. But yeah, it's actually like really cool hobby. Like it's very like peaceful to just sit down and paint those like small plastic parts. Actually, I'm sure like this might be something like if you have a resin 3D printer, it would be perfect to like print those like model kits. Not sure if somebody is like offering that as like a download. So, oh yeah, also like here, it's actually like a missed opportunity. Like it's this like part here is quite flimsy. And when I reprinted it, I did make it a bit stronger, but I should have made it even stronger, I think. So I might change the model there again a bit. I'm not quite sure why this nuts doesn't want to come off. Here we go. Oh yeah, here we go. That's the absolute weak point. Okay. Yeah, we still have to take apart a bit more. Yeah, we really have to take apart the entire thing. Yeah, it's one thing. Actually, yeah, it's maybe interesting to see. So you see this is the new part, like the one section I already replaced. We have the rounding here. So basically, compared to the old part where you have the square parts here, this is the ultimate weak point here, because the strong section here ends above this like right angle. So it's like really easy for the layers to separate here in this spot. It's also like where the other part just broke. It's exactly here in this like right angle. So having the rounding should like make this more strong, like way more stronger. Maybe also looks a bit better. And the other part, when you look from above, you see that the new part has this additional like screw hole here, which we actually have to put in heated inserts in a second. The old part does not have that. So this is like super flimsy to print. This one has a bit of a spine here. It's not a lot of material that's extra, but it makes it way stiffer. Like this side is like way stiffer compared to like this. So I think that's a good improvement. Let's take out all the screws. And another thing we kind of need to improve a bit is like those side panels. Like generally it's fine, like once everything's together, this is quite stable because it's like supported from different sides. But I wonder whether it would make sense to give it like some 3D shape. Like right now it's just a flat panel, and maybe it's nice to have like some like wave or something like this one is like a little bit higher, because this would like also increase the stability a lot, and I don't think it would use a lot of material to print. Okay, that's the last one. I think we can put the new part in place right away. And I actually like plan to recycle the patchy. I saw that Form Futura, which I buy most of my filaments from, they now have a recycling program for PLA and patchy. So I collected actually all the patchy waste from this project. Like I have a couple of fail parts and like those now, and I will just send them in for recycling. Which I think is really cool. Not quite sure how effective or efficient this is, but at least it's something. Okay, here's the new part. And you see like also here we have now this top, and in the back basically here's this spine, which makes it like way stiffer. The only thing I missed is like here in the middle, like it's already way stronger because of the magnet hole or mounts, but here it's still very thin. So I think like just adding like a little bit of material here in the middle like will make this a bit stiffer. I don't think it matters much in the end result in a certain sense, but yeah, might just be a bit nicer. Let's see if this all fits nicely together. Okay, we tighten it all up. Okay, like it feels already much stiffer to be honest, which is nice. Like it's still like obviously you can push it in this direction, which those parts prevent on. Oh, actually not. But yeah, like once everything is put together, you can't do that anymore because there's like the base in the middle and the fan actually is mounted to the top part, making it way stiffer. But this is already much nicer than before. The only thing is like I'm still kind of annoyed. You kind of see, right? This is a different white than that. That's the first spool and that's the second spool. And it's the exact same material. That's different material, or like different colors, like ever so slightly different colors, and it's a bit annoying. Okay, let's put aside the bottom part. Let's quickly move to the top part, where basically we have to do the same thing. Quickly have to take it apart, swap out the front and back, put everything back together, and then we need to quickly check if like, so firstly we have to add the heated inserts in those 8 spots around the part, but also we need to check whether it nicely fits on top of each other, because like this is like the top of the print basically, so we might need to file down like some high spots just to make it like nice and flush. Okay. These are two parts we will reuse. And here we just have to quickly get out all the screw. And also this part in the middle, of course, we will reuse. And then this can go for recycling. Where did I put the other part? Oh, just on there. It's a lot of M3x8 screws. I did not save on those. Yeah, see, by the way, here it's like also cracking on the exact same spot as the other part. So it's really like a perfect, yeah. And the material was a bit wet, so generally it's just really weak. Yeah. It's like really brittle. I'm not gonna try with the new part, but they are much more stable. Cool. Okay. So yeah, again, like different surrounding here, and in the back it's way stiffer. So let's actually we didn't do that with the other part, but let's just. We can check that. This is flat. Okay, let me also actually put it over there for now. Cool. Maybe let's just start with those parts because it just stiffens up everything a bit. Oh, I think there's a problem in the Fusion files. I didn't even notice. Let me quickly. First, it just doesn't want to go in, but it's aligned. Yeah. Okay. I did not notice, but one side, the back side, is missing the cutouts for the Velcro strips. So there seems to be like a mirror missing, like that's supposed to be on front and back. So now this part needs to go to the front. Actually, the same here. Like on the front, we have the Velcro strip cutouts, but they are missing from the back. I mean, not a big deal. Can fix that, of course, in Fusion, but good we spotted that. So. Not sure why it's so tricky to like get those screws here in. Okay. Yeah, this makes it of course like already much stiffer. IDNP, are you restarting the build or just outside panels? I changed these parts here. So basically, these were the old ones. The first of the material was wet, so they were really, really weak. Like you can really just, like they're really brittle. Like it's really horrible. It's just breaking apart. So that's obviously no good. But I also made some improvements to the part itself. Because the part is printed like this, basically. And I had a problem that the higher you go, the more you see like shifts in the layers a bit. It's just like very uneven. And the problem was that basically, because it's PETG and it's like a bit soft, like it started to just wiggle a bit while the bed was moving back and forth, basically. So yeah, no good. The new part basically has a couple of changes. Most important one is the square corners here were replaced with round ones. Because like here where like the right angle meets, like it's just like a perfect point for the part to break. So this makes it a bit more resistant to that. And the other big change is in the back. There's this spine basically here in the middle that was missing from the old part. This makes it much stiffer. Primarily for printing, to be honest, but also like as the material is already there, I also had screw holes on top, so we can like stiffen up everything a bit more. So just like placing those parts, but overall, like I'm really happy with the case. Like I was gaming a bit last week, temperatures were okay. The CPU temperature was quite high because I used this like temporary like weird CPU cooler. But in general, like, it works really well. And I'm really, really happy with it, actually. Like, I did not expect it to turn out so well. So, that is quite positive. If we get this back together. Just have to like put all the 1000 screws back. Yeah. And they're like a bit... Let's maybe drill out those holes because it's a bit difficult to fit the screws through. All the chamfers, yeah. I don't have my drill at hand, so I quickly have to get that, but I think it's important that those are kind of like easy to pass through here. Maybe we can just use the screw to just push it. Nah, that's already enough. Okay. Just do that quickly. Okay, try again. Like the first connection is always like very annoying. Okay. Let's maybe do that side first. Oh yeah, and there's one other problem. Like the wood finish I added like last stream, it actually does seem that the heat of the air from the system weakens the adhesive a bit. So maybe not for today, but we need to find a solution there. Because obviously we don't want the PVC foil to peel off. That would be not good. I think I see a problem. Something changed. Here's fine. Like here it aligns on top. Not 100% perfect, but well enough. Bottom as well. Oh, I'm putting it on the wrong way. Okay, that's why it doesn't align. That makes sense. I thought I accidentally changed something in the Fusion file while making the changes. Suddenly it fits way better. Perfect. Although still, there's quite a gap. That's not good. Like here, there's like quite a gap. And this will definitely show up. Let's quickly try, because like basically here in the middle where the two parts meet, it's really important that it's like all nice and lined up. Because if that's not the case, you will have a gap there. Yeah, but it's already kind of where it's supposed to be. Ooh, that's not good. Okay, let's see if we can fix it. But it's not on the... it's also on the other side. Okay, that might mean we need to do some sanding here. Just to kind of like level it out. Let's put it on the other side and see how that turns out here. Yeah, because here it's perfect. This is perfect. I'm not sure why the other side has the problem. See if this side also lines up. Yeah, here it's exactly same height. Use that. Professionals would use a drill, but it also works. And the last one. Hey, you really see like the different color, right? Like this is like more cream white and this is like a bit cooler tone. Okay, that is a bit of a problem. Oh, it's also like on both sides here now. Like both sides have a bit of like a ridge there. Problem is now if we put it together, we have this like massive like split in the middle. That's not good. That doesn't look nice. Because before it was like completely flush. I'm not sure if it changed. Again, like, because like I didn't reprint those parts, it might be that like something in the Fusion model like changed ever so slightly and that's the result. I'm not sure. I would tend to ignore that for now. Because I also consider reprinting those outer panels, to be honest, with a bit different design. So if I now modify those outer parts to fit that, we might have the reverse problem in the future. Let's quickly put it all together and see what happens. So basically here we need, on this side, we need heated inserts, and here we have screw holes. Just checking that they're all like free. And I guess let's quickly put on the heated inserts. The triangles are printed flat and the corners vertical. Yeah, exactly. Like the corners are printed vertical because like in any other orientation as vertical, than vertical, like you kind of need a shitload of support material. So that's just vertical. And the triangles are basically printed flat on the print bed. I mean, technically, so here's the thing, right? Like you could print this part as is like that. You can just print it like this. It fits on a print bed. You can print this as one part. And I'm actually not sure if this is a smart thing to do or not. It would make assembly easier, right? Because then basically you don't need those screws here and this would be perfectly level. The downside is of printing it as one section basically. It would be like quite a long print. Like the front and back part on the switch wire, I printed this on the switch wire. This was like each side was like 7 hours. So it would be like 14 hours already, like just like putting the two together plus this. So this might be like a full day of printing. And I don't like such long prints because stuff can always go wrong. And then like you waste a lot of filament if like something goes wrong. But technically you can print this as one go. I'm just not sure if the triangles would come out like nicely in a certain sense, right? Because to print upward, most likely it will be fine. Because also like the power button here, this is the same size and it's also printed vertical, and this came out also with no issue with the bridging here. So I guess you could get away with it printing upright. And this might actually be something I change in the files when I export them, that this is like one part. Because then exactly you don't have this issue that it doesn't align here and being difficult. Might be better indeed. At a size 1 to 2 millimeter might be difference in shrinking. Yeah, that's the thing. The shrinking is also like definitely happening. I actually had also problems with warping of the, especially like those like outside panels. The first I did, this was the second one I printed, and you see basically it's one part here, 2 part, 3 part, 4 part. So it's like 4 sections. And the first one I printed in 2 sections, just top and bottom. And here I actually had the problem that like, you don't see it, but this is completely warped inwards. Like here and here it's completely warped inwards. And I filled it from the outside with filler. So this is really heavy actually. And to prevent that, when I printed the second half, I put it in 4 pieces. And I also added these vertical like studs here basically to prevent the warping, which worked great. I had some printing issues. You see here, like I glued some some waste material in because I had like weak layers in 2 spots. But generally, like, yeah, I really had problems with warping, which I was not expecting from Patchy. That was kind of like a learning experience. It's actually like the first larger project I printed in Patchy. That was really like a new thing for me. And I kind of have it under control now. But there was definitely like a learning curve to how the material behaves. Yeah, no, basically it's also like a change, right? Now we have 1, 2, 3 screws for each corner to put it together. Should also like massively increase the stability or like reduce the flex to be more precise. Yeah, but maybe it would be better to just print this like whole section in one part. Isn't just really like the question whether maybe there's a better pattern than the triangles to prevent or to reduce. I mean, firstly, like the bridging from the top, but also maybe the overhang, because at the moment, like, it would be like 60-degree overhang. Yeah, technically you can print this vertical, right? Like the screw hole, like here the mounting holes for the optional fans might be a bit troublesome, but should be fine. It's just a question, like my idea is kind of that if somebody wants to build this, should be possible. Like I will publish all the files. And then if I make a change like that, I just can't try it because I'm not going to print like this entire section again. So I'm just not sure if it's smart to like offer it as one piece. Because like I don't know if this would print well. And your rods hold it together anyways. Yeah, I mean like the holding together, like this is stable either way. The problem is really just like the visual gap in between the two halves. But let's just see if we put it together, how it will look. I actually did not consider it like relatively hard to reach those screws now. I think maybe it's better to just put the screws in first and then put it on top. Yeah, it's quite difficult. Well, yeah, like the screw itself fits fine. Just putting it in from top is a bit challenging. Okay, yeah, okay, you need tweezers. I should put it down maybe. Yeah, okay, there's a bit of effort. The problem is also like those are printed in this orientation, so the holes from the bottom, there's a bit of sacrificial material involved. So you kind of have to push through the material, which doesn't make it easier to put the screws in from the back. I should see if I can get like a bit of an angle on what I'm doing there. Maybe I can do it like this. There's a bit of material here. I think you just really have to remove. I know you're not seeing a lot, but I can assure you I'm also not seeing a lot. Okay, but you're actually not seeing anything. Right. Now it should focus on the back. Okay. I'm not sure if this counts as bad design. It's definitely not easy. Here we go. I think generally, like, you need a bit of patience for putting this together. Three more to go. Yeah, this one's easy. Oh, that one was a loss. Here we go. That's all of them. Just have to remember to put it back to autofocus. Cool, so all 8 screws are in. Now we just have to somehow to be honest, I think it's easy to just do it across. Just work here in this corner. Yeah, that's kind of like how I imagined it to be. Nice and easy. Yeah, but this feels way stable, way more sturdy and like stiff than the previous version. It's definitely like a good upgrade. And material-wise, it's really not that much more. This is like really stiff. Like the fan still like comes up here, which will make this completely stiff, but then I think that like the rods are not even in. And to be honest, like I'm not even sure if you need those rods anymore. The only thing is now basically we have this like gap here, which I'm a bit annoyed. I have this like connector pieces. And there's only one direction they really fit. They might pull together a bit. But it's like, not really. It's a shame. So I kind of feel like there's needs to be like a nice way to cover this seam anyways. Just like I like the idea of having this like completely like uniform, but I don't think this is possible. Like firstly, like there's nothing to connect the two halves, so they're kind of like loose and wiggly. Yeah, more hex things are an option, right? Like this is like technically, I mean, technically you can just have like something going like as a band over here, which is maybe something I will add, right? You can just like, you have the screws here, so this can just like hook in between the two somehow and just cover the seam. It's just like I really like the idea of having this like as one complete piece. I mean, this kind of like, the things like if you glue this in place, that was the idea, like the two halves are really connected. So this is like kind of solving the problem, but now we have this like gap in the middle. And you can solve that. All you need to do is like to sand down the corners to have this gap like disappear basically, because like there's enough like wiggle room basically in the height, the total height of the case, that like this like millimeter here in the middle, that doesn't matter. Yeah. By the way, like the rods are no longer needed at all. Like this is like completely stable. And I think let's add them, to be honest. But these rods were initially meant. Oh, we still need them for the outer part. Oh. Oh no! I thought I tested that. Doesn't go in. Because basically, like from stability standpoint, you don't need anymore. And initially, the idea was to have the top and bottom part, basically the outer shell, like flip onto that. But it's not gone. The top part still needed to hook it in, but this could be just like a random M3 by 8 screw. So I'm not sure. Like technically, you can get rid of that because like stability-wise, I don't think it will add anything. Now I just need to check that we actually get it in. Yeah, here it fits. Uh-oh. Should have tested that before. I think the best we could do here is use the drill and like drill it quickly in. That might be the easiest. I'm just a bit confused because I tested that this fits, and it did. But now it clearly does not. Very sad. Okay, let me quickly grab the drill, and then we can like force our way in. 1 second, I'm right back. Okay, so I have to drill. So let's quickly remove that end piece here. I'm really... Oh. Well, that's a problem. I'm not sure how this just happened. Let's fix the camera first. This is not straight. I think this is the end of my lens. I'm fairly certain this is the end of my lens. That's supposed to be straight. Hey. Yeah. I mean, it's not an expensive lens. This is literally like a 70 euro lens. So it's expensive, but it's, as far as lenses go, it's very cheap. But I have no clue how this just happened. Like why did it fall? Okay, let me just quickly check the camera is okay. That's the most important part. I mean, now it's white because there's no lens. There's a bit of picture, so the camera seems okay. Shit. Yeah, that's game over. That is game over. Hey. What a shame. Now I have a two-part lens. Let me think. I mean, I have a different lens we can use. No, it didn't crack. Like, it fell on the lens and like pushed in one side of the of this like moving part. Yeah, this thing is gone. I have a different lens, but I'm a bit concerned now that I have no clue why this fell. And if I now put like the other lens, like 800 euro lens, and if I put an expensive lens there and this happens again, then I have a problem. Yeah, not NP, don't worry about the lens. That's really like, it's the cheapest lens you can get. It's really, it's perfect for what I'm doing here. But it's a manageable loss. Okay, but I'm really confused. Like, how did that come loose? That never happened. Okay, let me quickly grab the other lens and let's just test it. 1 second. I'm not sure if that works. I mean, this works, but I think it's too heavy. On the lens hood. It's not ideal. And I'm low-key scared. Okay. Where were we? We were here. Okay, let's continue. Just I really wonder why this doesn't fit. I'm pretty sure I tested that. The only problem is now basically I can't drill it in all the way. Like from here on. It's not ideal. Huh. It really grips, like I can't pull it. It really grips onto that. I mean, what we can do... Okay, here, this part's now free. And now it's fine. Okay, there's not a lot missing. There's like a lot of like dust. Let's try if we can do the same from the bottom. Ah, okay. Then this one is... This one part is checked. I can't zoom out more, by the way. This is the downside of this lens. This is the maximum zoom out we can have. Let's... Put the cap back on. Grab that. It's again like something I didn't expect this to take so long to like take this apart and put it back together. I'm always surprised like how long things sometimes take. Actually, would have been smarter to use this one rod to kind of drill out the other ones as well. Oh. Yeah, it really just needs like a bit of heat and then like this like dust comes out, so there's not a lot missing from making them just slide in. Here we go. Might be that's a bit over extruded maybe. Okay, let's finish those two. Just a question. I mean, I'm not sure what to do about that crack now. Because there's like two things that bother me. Like firstly, it's the color difference between the two parts. I do have 700-ish grams of this like outer material still. So I can reprint the middle parts in that color. So I could reprint that. And also print quality here is not ideal. Like this was the same wet material. And you see like it's just like stringing going on and everything. So might be worthwhile to reprint them. I think for now let's ignore that split here. Let's just ignore it and then I will think about a solution. I mean, the best solution would just like reprint the entire part as one piece. I'm still low-key low-key concerned that the camera falls down again. Second pair of pliers. If you reprint the middle, you can scale to 101, 102% one direction. Yeah, I can. But I don't think it would be like a good solution. Because like it's still like I kind of want this to be printable by other people. If I start scaling it in a slicer, then it won't work for other people, maybe. I mean, don't get me wrong, like we can totally fix this here. It really just involves a bit of muscle work, basically, to like file down one of the two halves just a bit, right? That like we just like file down this like extra millimeter from the corner pieces. Then it will be fine. So we can do that. But I'm just thinking like of a proper like quote-unquote long-term solution. Because also like if you print that in like independent, like as like two pieces basically, the entire like part you're putting here together instead of like having like I don't know, like 8 pieces, like just having 2. You will still have some gap there, right? Like the gap will never be 100% gone. So I wonder whether it's like if you can put like some design element there. To just cover that. I mean, for me, like now building this, it could really just be like some like strip going from left to right and just covering that. And we can just glue it basically there, like it doesn't really matter, right? Just like to cover that gap. Because, I mean, on the other side, right, like you see it here, there's basically no gap visible. Basically, there's still like, you still see, of course, where the two parts meet. Okay, let's prepare this. Doesn't work so well on this side. Ah, here we go. From the other side. Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. I tested it. Yeah, now it works. Ah, so the bottom part is fine. Not quite sure what the trick is, to be honest. Like this one doesn't want to do what the others did. Here we go. Okay, last one. Almost there. Perfect. Oh, I forgot the end caps. This goes on. There should be one more of those end caps. Let me turn it around so you see what I'm doing. So let's try this again. It's really like I kind of failed to like fiddle this on. So I think it's maybe worthwhile to just get rid of those rods outside, to be honest. Because by now they're not adding anything besides being like a massive pain. Okay, this one is on, I think, maybe. Maybe it's on, maybe it's not. I think it's cross-threaded. Yeah. Whew. Okay. Challenges over challenges. Okay, let me relax for a second. Oh, let's see. Can we get this nut on this rod? Okay, let's try the other one for a second. It's like generally I think you have to have a lot of patience with this build. There are a couple of like things. Yeah, see now it's on, maybe? Yeah. Yeah, okay, so this side is on. And are just quite difficult to do. And I just touched the camera arm, which I should not. Let's only destroy one lens per stream. I think 2 lenses per stream is too expensive. Nah, it was not cross-threaded, it was just a bit hard. Let's just quickly tighten it. And then I would say two things left to do here. So firstly, we need to glue the magnets to the outer shell. So this is kind of complete. So this is the back side here. If we put this on, that's by the way the thing I mentioned. So the heat on the spots where it's not like wrapped perfectly around the corner, like the heat of the air just seems to like kind of loosen it a bit. So maybe we need to add some glue there to prevent that from happening. And then the other topic is basically here we still need to glue the magnets to that pre-printed part. So basically, like if I would print it again, those magnet holders would be in place already. But because it's like I'm not printing the entire shell again, just to add those magnets, we need to glue that in place. Okay, so basically, oh, I forgot the clip things. This is in place, so all we need to do is like add the glue here, and then we just clamp that down and let it dry for a bit. And then maybe we can also address this part a bit. Let's see. So let me quickly grab the clamps, and then we just glue that and let it dry for like a second. 1 second, right back. Okay, we have glue, we have clamps, so let's put a healthy amount of glue on those magnets. And with healthy, I mean a lot. And then I guess let's just press this down and clamp it in place. And I guess I would just let this dry for like a couple of minutes, just so the super glue is like really dry. And in the meantime, let's work on the front panel actually. Because there's also something we need to fix. So the problem is that this cable coming out here, like it kind of like tends to be clamped into the first magnet here. And that of course causes issues that it doesn't close properly. So I wonder how we can easily fix that. What I did here is I drilled a small hole for like a zip tie. I wonder that we can do the same just on top, that we have a second zip tie just holding it here. That would be a solution. Looking at that, I'm also not sure if the zip tie is not a problem, to be honest. Because it stands out like a bit from that surface here, of course. And that surface is meant to be flush. So I think the problem is not necessarily the cable, but also this zip tie. I think what we can do is like maybe file a little groove in here. really like modding the parts. Also trying, I'm scared with the camera a bit, to be honest. So basically, if we have a groove here, we can like put the zip tie in the groove. And then this should be flush again, because I'm pretty sure like the cable is fine. Like if we kind of route it like this, it should work. And that's just out of the way. Quickly. This works quite well with the groove. And technically, we can also like remove this from the bigger piece. It might make things a bit easier. It's like another piece we kind of have to add, or like thing we have to add to the Fusion files. Because I think like having the zip tie point here is really important. Okay, you can see there's quite a, I don't think you can see it a lot, but like there's quite a groove now. There should be enough to just put the zip tie in. It's not quite wide enough, but I have smaller zip ties. Also not quite. Work on it a bit more. Yeah, it should do the trick. That should do the trick. Now this is flush, basically. So hopefully this will prevent the interference we had. And we just have to get this back in. Without breaking something, ideally. Here we go. Yeah, it's way better. I'm pretty sure this was the issue. But we can try it in a second. This should be dry. So yeah, works well. So let's quickly put it together. We just have to install a fan on top. Which, yeah, I can't really show you with this lens. So this needs to be like this. I have to first kind of like put this cable through here. Okay. Check that this is kind of in place. Okay, this one is in. One is in. Oh, I see the problem. We mounted this like thing here upside down. There's like heated inserts on one side, but not on the other. Now we put it in the wrong way. Fix that. See if we can get those screws aligned. What not a problem is. Ah, here we go. Now it's in. This one should also be in. Yeah. Cool. And then last thing left to do is we use the Velcro straps. To put the cable in the corner. Might be a bit too short now. Here we go. To do it 2 more times. Now it's easier. And one last time. Here we go. Perfect. And this cable's again like in the corner here. We can connect to the main board. And I would say let's just put it together. See if everything fits. We've got the top part. There's actually like a bit of flex here. I'm not quite sure why, but like it curved a bit in this direction. But yeah, like you don't see it really. Doesn't really matter too much. So, done. Let's over. This cable. Let's go here. And one thing we already learned last time is you need to be kind of careful. Like there's those like rods poking out up here. You need to be really careful to put this in the right hole. Because if you don't, like it kind of fits, but it's like all like a bit wrong. This should be the right one. Perfect. Fits and sits. Let's add the screws down here. Which hold it together, and then we can just put on the panels and everything should be ready. My original plan was to have like thumb screws here that you don't need tools to open it. Maybe it's something we can still add. Yeah, this one doesn't go in. I don't know why. There's one that does not want to go in. But also this one has now like a bit of resistance. I'm not quite sure why. Alright, okay. Goes in. I think it's not super important, right? The only thing that those screws do is like preventing that like the sleeve like slides back up. So they're not super important. Then let's still have to do the I/O shield. Oh. Doesn't that fit? That's the thing, right? Like the magnets work so well. Like I really wonder whether you can just add like more magnets on top and like just call it a day, like get rid of those rods altogether. It's just like not a good design, I think. Like if they're on, it's nice. Like it just hooks on top and then like the magnet is on the bottom. But the magnet is such a like a nice snap. Like if you would have the same amount of magnets on top, it would be totally sufficient. And is it now on properly? I think so. Yeah. So on front, we quickly need to connect all the things up. Also, like custom cables is still on my list, that we like get rid of those like too long cables and just have like something nice and custom. And that goes on here. Not like the space where I like put the cable before is gone because the larger CPU cooler. I was like a lot of space and now there's no space anymore. I mean, still kind of fits, but before there was like tons of space like around the corner here. Which should be fine. Okay, then let's connect the cable. Yeah, see, so it's like not the magnet here on this corner is not connecting. Like this corner here, this one snaps, this one does not. Let's see, maybe we can just turn it upside down. Take a peek. Yeah, exactly. You can see that. See, there's a cable. So we definitely need to like put the cable like, because now it's nice. So this cable needs to be fixed. So this needs to be really fixed in place here on the side, and it doesn't like go in between the magnets. To be honest, the quickest way I have right now to do that, the screw doesn't really fulfill a purpose. So what we can do is we can maybe just zip tie that here for now. The proper solution would be to have proper mounting point. I mean, this should be fine for now. But I think like I will reprint this like small part here and just have like a zip tie point here and like one here that you can kind of like guide the cable here on the side. I think for now this will be fine. Ooh. So, we lost the cover. This is quite stiff now. Okay. Yeah, still. Hey. Now it's a bit different problem because now there are too many cables. Yeah. Okay, now it's in place. So we need to find a better cable routing there. But besides that, I think this is counting is complete. Still really scared with the camera mount now. So it's a bit hard to see, but all parts are on. To be honest, like the gap here on the side is not even that bad. Like if you put on the hex, you barely see it. Okay, so basically, I would call it now. I'm low-key annoyed with the lens, so I think that's enough for today. Bit on the short side, but that happens. So basically, I think next time we will work on my V0. Need a bit of a break from the project. There are a couple of things still we need to do. One thing is the rear I/O panel down here. I need to order the parts for that, but basically the idea is to have like plugs there, including this power plug. And the other part is basically we need to find a solution for those panels here. That's not okay. And I think this would be one more stream at some point, but next time I want to work on the V0, get this up and running again, and then we can see what we do. Yeah, this is also not quite on. Okay. Okay, so then this would be it for today. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and see you next week.